me get audio.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
All right, let's see. Are we audible to anybody in the room that can actually have the sound on? Yes, because I can hear myself over one of your speakers.
Audio. I'm trying to mute my phone so I can just be in the chat without.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why am I failing at technology right now?
Well, you just turned off the.
Because you're not in the pocket is the problem, and you need to get into the pocket.
Okay, I missed the I have to go back and look. I have not looked the VOD yet, and nor have I But I just laughing because I'm the most pocket person in this competition is
But no, they're not in the pocket. I've been told by multiple judges.
I have to figure this out. I'm gonna go back and.
It makes me question everything. This is so specific to nerdcore.
I am so out of the
has
pocket,
nothing to do. You're out of the pocket about whether or not you're in the pocket.
Out of it. I'm done.
Would you bring my math clicky clacks?
Also, I should probably mention that we're streaming on the social medias, so I'm going to do that. This is the level of professionalness of session 3. You think I'd have it down by now?
Thank you, Trey A. Exactly. The pocket is this way.
Yep.
Exactly. Let's do the Sherry thing.
I'm going to the Dying of Exposure Twitter, and I'm gonna just keep refreshing it, and I'm timing you.
Well, I'm going to the Facebook first, so it's gonna take a little bit. You need to cool your jets, Aaron. Cool your jets, kid.
50 seconds.
I truly do not enjoy you. No, that's a lie. I wouldn't have invited you to 2 D&D campaigns. Notice you're not in 3 though. That's that. Maybe if you work on your attitude there, partner, you can get to 3. Okay, who's picture?
3 D&D campaigns would be crazy.
Wouldn't it though? Wouldn't it be insane for someone to run 3 simultaneous D&D campaigns? Wouldn't that just be nuts?
Right?
Only a fool would do that.
It sounds like something a masochist would do, honestly.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Are you a masochist, Steve?
No, I just don't work, and therefore I have time. This is what happens.
Steve is a sadist. That's why he's the dungeon mommy.
Sadist Steve. Yo, that's your new rap name, fam.
Right, sadist Steve.
Find sadist Steve.
I love that.
That life.
Sadist fucking Steve.
Sadist Steve is it. That's it.
Yo, that's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yo, you gotta come out with some Brother Lynch hug shit if your name is Sadist Steve, though.
You know what makes me happy is that if you listen to our VOD about Nerdcore, or about this round of Vocalist Producer Challenge, when we got to your song, Desh, I'm like, Desh is gonna fucking kill me. All right, so this isn't my final score, but it's a 7 out of 10. Now, here's why.
I didn't see that.
And then objectively, it's a 9 out of 10. But my final, that was my actual score. But I'm like, personally, for me, because I'm not willing to be this lost in the first verse, 7 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it could have been lower, but I trust Desh to bring me home. And then you got me to the 9 out of 10.
It's better than anything's better than Lars last year, because Lars was really dope. Sounds like Dungeon Family. 6 out of 10 to our round 2. So then in round 3, I literally spent the entire first verse going at Lars's head about how inconsistent he was, and it wasn't like I said his name, but it's very. If you look at the lyrics and listen, it's very obvious that I'm talking about Lars. Very obvious, and he gave us a 9. I was like, this is a 9.
Well, he liked that. Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Okay.
I need to turn off my work phone because I don't want to hear that.
Bot signal.
You are not here for that.
I'll work.
I just turned off my Teams too. I'm still on my work laptop computer because I couldn't escape it tonight.
Aaron, I just noticed that you drew a QWERTY penis on the feed.
Yeah.
Oh, a corduroy penis.
QWERTY, not
QWERTY.
quarter.
Oh, corny. That makes way
Oh
more
God,
sense.
a corduroy penis! No.
That sounds terrible. That sounds like a
Or
horror.
the sound, the friction.
Well, I mean, you have to wear them because you go to private school and it's part of the uniform for the boys. Corduroy penis.
Super
I'm sorry,
smooth in one direction, but then it just like catches on the other direction.
I'm sorry. This reminds me of like my college ex when I was like a senior in undergrad. We were just like being random and pulled up whatever porn movie we can find. There's this movie with Ron Jeremy in it where an alien invades and like takes his dick off and he dies. And the dick just goes around as like a terror in this porn movie. The dick is like the villain.
That's amazing.
So that was
is it
Ron
called?
Jeremy in a green
I don't know.
screen
need to see
situation,
this.
right? Like surely.
No, he just like his last words. He's like, "You remember when we fucked behind the tree or something like that?" And he just dies, and the penis is just running around rampant by itself as a penis. And Ron
Okay.
Jeremy-
But like, is it a dildo? Is it a real human penis?
it's a human penis. It's like a giant, become a
Animated
giant
human-
monster.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great.
I have got to see this.
I don't remember what it's called because that was like 10 years ago. But like,
Burninating the countryside,
but it was so funny.
terrorizing the peasants.
It was so funny. I really.
Oh, my penis strong.
I'm so glad anyone's watching this for D&D. We've yet to get to the actual start of the episode, so you've missed nothing.
This is 100% accurate to our tabletops.
Yeah, at least in low armor cast, I can like edit out pieces of this. And so I only leave in like a minute of warm up before the episode begins. And then you all interrupt me in the recap because that's how we do. That's how we do.
Steve, there was a walking penis monster in a movie, and it's just
Yeah.
what happened.
You're all in the yawning portal. A penis monster comes in, and just busts through the door.
Mhm.
Again, I'm out of here.
That's the noise of a penis monster. I don't know if you know that. That's a nature sound I recorded for round 3 of the vocalist producer challenge. Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I brought it all the way back to the beginning here. That's what I do. Let's do the stream information, make sure everything's right. Okay, sure it is. Whatever. Welcome back to Dying of Exposure, Dungeons and Dying of Exposure, Waterdeep Dragon Heist with the Booty Pea crew.
Hey, girl, let me pee in that butt.
The Booty Pea crew, truly
Sorry,
the most adult and the most adult and refined D&D actual play podcast there on the old Twitch. My name is Steve. I am your dungeon mommy, and I'm joined by my wonderful Booty Pea crew. The Booty Pea crew, able to hit a target 20 feet away. Pretty impressive when in the heat of the bedroom. All of them can do it, though. You'd be surprised who can hit it. Put in the chat who you think can hit the booty from farthest away. The answer will surprise you. The answer will surprise. All right, we're gonna go around and introduce the players. Introduce your name, the character you play, all that good stuff. We're gonna start. A little outside of the pocket today. Let's start with our wonderful Blade Ward Wizard or Blade Singing Wizard. You want to introduce yourself? Yeah, I'm allowed to take pot shots at you. We got to keep this going. Like, we're focused. We're on a time frame.
Yo, I'm KadeshFlow. My pocket is fucking barely below perfect because perfect's not possible, but it's very close to it. And I am playing Shujaa Wakichawi.
Yeah.
Shujaa Wakichawi.
Beneath Shujaa, someone who's always in the pocket of various capitalist companies trying to get them to donate to people.
Well, I was going to say, actually, as Frond, that I'm frequently most invested in Nature's Pocket as a druid.
I don't want to talk about Nature's Pocket on this Twitch stream. We're already playing fast and loose. There's only a couple things that could be called Nature's Pocket.
Well, I'll leave it up to your imagination. Hi, I'm Camille. I play Frond, a weird little halfling druid of some sort, maybe? Question mark?
Recently cast in the Liefeldian cinematic universe film The Pocket, who is all covered fully in pouches, a la Liefeld's classic art style. Let's slide on over to one of our two Dragonborns. Let's do the bottom one. That could have applied to either of you, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm Triple Rawn. I play Dragon. And my pockets, I have no pockets. Dragon has no pockets because personal possessions are frowned upon by Poseidon.
That's really going to negatively impact the role later when it's like, does anyone have rope? I have no pockets. Does anyone have like a string?
I carry everything upon my back.
Including a giant anchor.
Yes.
And
Dragon wears a fanny pack.
Yeah, just a fanny, just a quick fanny pack. It's just you. I'm leaving it. I'm letting it live. Just a quick fanny pack. Dragon, only character that could rock a fanny pack. The only player that I think could rock a fanny pack, and no one would say shit about it because they would know that if she did it, it was probably best for everyone to just follow suit. Would you like to introduce yourself last but not least?
Yes, I am Prowess the Testament, and I am playing Chesmee, a dragonborn wizard with, man with hole in pocket feels cocky all day. Let's keep it.
Man with hole in pocket feels cocky all day. So, if I can bring this into any kind of reasonable, I mean, quite legitimately, we could just fully ignore D&D and just BS for 2.5 hours on this stream, and it would probably not be that different. I'd be like, that joke was pretty funny, but roll charisma save to see if it was really funny for the rest of us before anyone laughs. But we will recap. So what happened in the last episode of Waterdeep 2 weeks ago, last Monday, is that the group, in the Yawning Portal Tavern, after meeting each other and having felled a number of bandits, was gathered around the table, was going to regather around the table until a troll crawled out of the Yawning Portal. And then they had to deal with that fucking noise right away. They dealt with the troll quite handily, eventually pushing his ass back down from where he came from, because this group is definitely anti-immigration. But I'm just gonna. They'll believe me because of the way I look, and then they'll be confused about the players. They're like, "What?" But they pushed that troll right back down to the pit. They then met Volo from Volo's Guide of Monsters. That had summoned them all there, minus Frond. Frond just sort of invited themselves along with Dragon, but summoned them all there for a little bit of a mysterious task that would be a lot of money. But before said mysterious task, they had another task that was a little bit more straightforward. Their friend, who is a very pretty, very good-looking, very simple man named Floon Blagmar, has been missing for the last couple days. And what with the rising increase of violence and danger in Waterdeep, making it more akin to Baldur's Gate than the more regular, reserved city that it usually is in the past, Volo explained a bit of information about the different factions and different bubblings underneath the surface in the underworld of Waterdeep, causing these conflicts, and offered them 10 dragons up front and 100 dragons each to go find his friend Floon. Now, Volo, not really the most durable-looking older man himself, decided that these adventurers who just handled bandits and then a troll probably could handle themselves if any danger came up. I can't exactly remember why we could not possibly progress from that point, but we were way out of control. And so I'm just like, I guess we're done for the day.
We were out of the pocket, one could say.
We were fully out of pocket. Fully out of pocket. And so we returned to the Yawning Portal Tavern. Quick heads up for the listeners, there will be no Roll20 maps today. I'm having some technical difficulties with various computer-related things, and so I only have this one laptop monitor, and I can only do so much with one laptop monitor. So, no Roll20 today. Any combat will be theater of the mind, but that lets us expand our horizons a little bit. I don't have to have a map prepared. For every possible things. It is out of it's no pockets. I'm wearing joggers, no pockets. I bought them on Amazon from a company that misspelled its own name, and they do not fit. Let's
Dodos.
So well, sitting around the table, happily drinking and talking with Volo, learning about the various factions that have been conflicting, including Xanathar's gang, another gang of dark operatives. Some of the city guard are getting a little bit more handsy because there's too much trouble for the local businesses, and so they're getting a little bit more rough these days. They get all the information that they can out of Volo, and the last time he spent time with them, they were at a once I find the name of the bar again.
The Skewered Dragon.
Skewered Dragon, that's it. They were at the Skewered Dragon 2 nights ago. They both got really drunk. Volo bounced. Floon did not and was having a good old time. Volo has not seen or heard from him since, and none of the people Volo has asked after have seen or heard from him. And so he hasn't done a lot of searching. He gave him about a day, but this evening was definitely when he wanted to do it. Now, it is nighttime at this point. You have been in 2 combats. You're probably out of spell slots. You're probably low on hit points. So I do believe, I can't recall if we agreed for a long rest or not, but did you want to take a long rest, stay at the Yawning Portal for the night? There was nothing pressing you to do it tonight.
I believe that's what we had agreed upon.
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
So.
All right, so you are all back to healed. You're all back. It is the morning in Waterdeep. There are bakers and fishwives and early morning farmers bringing their carts into open air markets. There are musicians still drinking from the night before, still up. The Yawning Portal is never fully empty, but it is quite quiet at this point. And so the only bit of information useful that you all have is that that the last place Floon was seen is at the Skewered Dragon. Volo gave you kind of rough directions off camera of the general direction from the Yawning Portal Tavern in Waterdeep to where the Skewered Dragon was, and so you could meander that way if you so choose, or you could say fuck off DM and we're just gonna hang out in the Yawning Portal and see what comes out of it next. That's also a thing that you could do. Just watch a bunch of Chads go down it and die. So what do you do?
Dragon's down to just do whatever. He doesn't have any particular we've already got our rooms set up and whatnot, right?
Yeah. Your rooms are set up. They gave you a free night for the services, and your breakfast is paid for, so you get some food and stuff like that. You might be able to finagle a little bit more out of it.
Continental.
Continental breakfast. There's bagels. There's very dry eggs. There's bacon that is paper thin and also equal. It should be at least oily, but it is not. And some fruit that is either way before ripe or definitely a day after ripeness has been a distant memory.
So I grab a bunch of the thin bacon, and I just make a bacon and bacon sandwich or wrap, so to speak.
Yep.
And I just rock that joint because it's easier to eat way more bacon when the bacon is thin and not oily.
It is.
And it's bacon.
Hell yeah.
It's
It
bacon.
is true. It is true. Shujaa just reaching whole handfuls into the bacon bin. This is, a medieval fantasy world, so there's no concern about like appropriate table manners. There are people that are, covered in monk. Of course, peasants coming in from the outskirts of Waterdeep, tired from their early morning shift of beating dirt with sticks. So no one is even confused about this.
I think that
what is Frond
is
doing?
like just below Shujaa's like elbow, like just very suddenly by the bacon pit, and is like, I'm next.
You can just get
It
in there.
just,
It's a pretty big bacon vat. It's a large vat of very cheap bacon, like McDonald's level thinness, translucent bacon. But you can have as much as you want. So there you go.
Do you need help, Frond, or are you good?
Frond reaches her little hands up. Yeah, I'm good. And just starts like baconing into her pockets.
Dragon watches Shujaa and then like follows suit and makes what Shujaa made and is like looks at it for a bit and bites into it. And he nods approvingly at Shujaa.
I'll have what he's having. Oh, weird.
Is this a local delicacy?
Bacon.
So it's like Frond cuts over with her little like bacon. You can see that there is like actively bacon sticking out of her pockets when she sits down at the table, but she is like pulling the bacon out of her pockets to eat. And she has like a little fistful of eggs that she puts out on the table and is like kind of eating those too.
Table eggs.
Mostly not eating any of the fruit.
Bonnie walks by because Bonnie's never not working. There's no 8-hour days here. Bonnie is an NPC, is just constantly working. She does not sleep. She does not eat. She just there. Bonnie's like the table on that table eggs. Oh, those are just like it's just like a cast iron skillet. We don't wash the table, so you get all the seasoning from them onto the eggs. It really enhances the flavor. I like what you're doing there, Frond.
Yeah.
Like hurriedly eats a little more of the eggs. So if we're gonna find this guy, we definitely gotta at least go to that place. But do we want to do it early before patrons care, or do we want to do it later once it's busy?
I would say as soon as possible, because the sooner that we figure this situation out, the sooner we can come back here and turn up. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I'm trying to see the city. I'm trying to see the city.
I gotta get some.
I too am trying to see the city.
I have been waiting. I've been waiting my entire life. So yes, I'm all about the city.
And I need some Stop!
Stop what?
I can't finish the rest of it.
Yeah. I know not of this Ursh you speak of. But we should see the city.
So you'll get to see some of the city on your journey. Skewer Dragon isn't right next to Yawning Port. It's not like across the street, like a Burger King and a McDonald's. I only know fast food. It's all I eat anymore. Because I have no time in my busy schedule of D&D. So I have to grab on the go. Anyway,
and here I was feeling inappropriate and telling myself I shouldn't make a McGriddle reference with the bacon.
There is no reference that you can make that is inappropriate beside that which will get the channel banned on Twitch.
If Booty P doesn't get the channel banned, then I think we're probably good.
Oh, that reminds me.
Yeah.
I asked the question earlier. let me hold on. How do you make a poll / poll? There it is.
Hey, girl.
All right.
Let me pee in that butt.
Okay, you make a poll, Aaron. I'll narrate the thing. Volo had said that you essentially are kind of heading toward the dock ward between Net Street and Fillet Lane. Fillet Lane. As you kind of travel through the dock ward, you pass a number of small outdoor and indoor shops that are stacked behind. Waterdeep is fairly close. It's a little claustrophobic. There aren't a lot of giant tall buildings, but there are a lot of 1 and 2 story buildings, or buildings that look like maybe they've had stories added to them, or have people actually sleeping on roofs and tents to them. So it's fairly claustrophobic. For those like Frond that have never been here, it continues to give the sense of there's too many people been to a big city. Too many people, too small of a space. Well, you were on the ship, it felt like that. Here, it feels like they've chosen to do that. What's the poll that Aaron did? What is the poll? I don't know what the poll is, so now we're gonna take a moment. Yeah, you got to vote on that poll. Which member of the booty crew could hit a booty hole? Hit that poll. So far. Okay, Shujaa finally got a vote, but that might be Ryan voting for himself. We don't know. I'm gonna vote for who I think it is, who I know it to be. Because I know everything about my players. Absolutely out of control.
I'm crying.
Give you a moment. We'll give you a moment. What I like about this is all the asides really stretch out the amount of stuff I need to plan.
Hold on. I screwed up it's using channel points. I wanted to use, it's using bits, not channel. I gotta read that. My bad.
Okay.
I can't. Whatever.
Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's already had 12 votes. That's everyone watching. So
that's official now.
So it looks like the winner right now is Triple Aaron. And you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong about that. It's not Triple Aaron.
The poll goes for 5 minutes, so get those votes in.
Get those
you can
votes
vote
in.
more than once.
Bring your call your friends in here just to vote on this, and then they can bounce. It increases my unique viewer count. This is how we virally market.
We're gonna use the term violently mark after a PO booty poll.
Yeah, I am gonna use that term. And I'm gonna do it shamelessly.
Sidebar: until I was in either 2nd or 3rd grade, I used to have content through.
In a little bit of cutout. There we go.
Yeah, you cut out a little.
I think
Trey, you're kidding.
I'm hearing contests. Dash, what kind of contest did you have in 2nd or 3rd grade that relates into peeing into buttholes? Why are we here?
Big tech keeping us down. That's Jeff Bezos.
I believe
Jeff
we're
Bezos
back up.
on that.
Jeff.
Goddamn Jeff. Jeff and his giant Amazon balls in downtown.
With a cybernetic suit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He only gets his
Fucking
balls
Lex
2 times a
Luthor
month
ass.
by reservation. It's bullshit.
Anyway. So you're walking to the dock ward. Walking to the dock ward, you've got clustered streets. People seem to be fairly friendly here in Waterdeep, even though there's murmurings via Volo and what you've experienced in the Yawning Portal Tavern. It doesn't seem to have affected people's just general outgoing. Waterdeep is an in-out city. It has tons of people roll into it. It's wide open for business 24/7, assuming there's 7 days in a D&D week. I haven't checked. But as you turn a corner on your way to the Skewered Dragon Tavern. You find yourselves on on a street that has been cordoned off by the City Watch. Lying on the cobblestones are a half dozen corpses, seemingly victims of some terrible skirmish. Watch officers have disarmed and arrested 3 blood-drenched humans and are in the midst of questioning witnesses. I have no idea why you guys are so...
UTI.
I'll wait.
The
I'm just managing my spells.
chat is on fire tonight.
See, this is why the GM doesn't look at the Dungeon Mommy does not look at chat very often, because I need to focus on the amazing stories we tell. But I honestly have no again. I prepared this part of the campaign for last week's session or 2 weeks ago. We didn't get there then. The more we don't get there, the less I have to do between sessions, and so I
yeah, see, we're helping.
Yeah, you're just helping me out. I appreciate it. But nonetheless, okay, to restate, you've turned a corner and lying on the cobblestones of the street there, kind of off to the side in a cordoned off section by the City Watch, are about a half dozen corpses. They look like they've been in some sort of fight. The watch officers have 3 kind of blood-covered humans that are sort of detained, disarmed, and in handcuffs, basically, hands tied off. And they're clearly questioning the witnesses. And immediately, without you even being near the scene, one of the watch officers is like, Move along. Nothing to see here. And so...
Can we roll perception to get details or something?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Do you do anything here? Do you just move on? You're welcome to do whatever you want. I'm just running the module. So
Dragon definitely rubbernecks a bit.
Rubbernecks again. So yeah, roll perception.
That's a 24 perception.
Woo! A 24 perception.
Yeah.
I need to check something real quick. Give me a moment. I need to confirm something before I say it, and then it's wrong, and then it doesn't make sense later.
There.
So you see some of the some of the people on the floor. The City Watch is being rough, but not anything that Dragon hasn't seen most City Watches that he's been around before. They're not out there with their nightsticks beating them. All of these humans are white. It's fine. Yeah. But they are absolutely shoving them and hand on hilts of weapon, and they're questioning them. It's very obvious questioning. It's like, so what are you and your friends still doing around here and such? You do notice with a 24 perception though that some of the corpses on the floor or on the street kind of have the same. They're not any of the bandits that you saw last night at the Yawning Portal, but they kind of have the same look about them, sort of the same color palette to their clothing schemes. They look like maybe they got some of their attire from the same place. And as much as fantasy television has taught us all that everyone wears a peasant shirt and the same exact pants, that's not how it is. With things being homemade, people dress wildly different from each other a lot of times. And so the fact that they all sort of look like they would fit in, or not all of them, but some of the corpses look like they would fit in with the bandits from last night, is a little bit interesting. But with the 24, you can confirm, even at this distance, none of them are the people that you kind of rustled out of the Yawning Portal last night.
Okay.
Can I do a charisma check to try to persuade them to let us hang around and look at the bodies?
Yes. First, we're going to have you roll for it, persuasion. Then, based off that roll, we can role play out what you actually say.
Okay.
Did you see these folks are dead?
Yeah. There's 3 of them that are being questioned, and then about 6 dead people on the ground.
that don't match what they're wearing, essentially.
That match. Some of the dead bodies match what the bandits were wearing. None of the 3 blood-soaked ones, as far as you can tell, match. But that's not necessary, or as far as Dragon would be able to tell.
I rolled an 11.
So the guard looks at all of you and is like, the City Watch member is like, go on. There's nothing here. Standard City Watch business. Move along.
Will you be returning their bodies to the earth?
Like, eventually, that or burn them.
I wouldn't. Seems a waste.
That's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Dragon has nothing in particular to say. He's just observing the city and learning.
Yeah. With the 24 as well, Dragon, I should say. So I mentioned that there was some City Watch. You start actually doing like a count of how many City Watch are there. It's not like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. There are a dozen guards from the City Watch kind of meandering about this scene.
Damn.
More than there were victims or 3 questioned added together.
Huh.
Interesting.
Something's got them spooked. Either that or they're just a slow day. Bunch of bored guards with nothing better to do. Either way, interesting.
So what did you see, Dragon?
What did you see with your dragon eyes?
These men are dressed similarly to the ones that the bandits that we met in the tavern last night, but they don't appear to be the same ones. Also, there are many more guards here than I guess one would expect. I'm a simple sailor, though, and I do not know much of city ways.
Chesmee, if you could roll perception while Shujaa and Dragon are talking.
Yes.
I try to persuade them to let us look, but I guess my charisma is a bit out of pocket.
That's going to be minus 1 point. That's going to be minus half a point for your vocal delivery. I'm just going to keep taking them away, and if we get below 7 out of 10, I'm killing your character, Ryan. 7 out of 10 is my baseline expectation for you. No, continue.
What is your charisma, Shujaa? Just curious.
It is 13.
Oh, okay. Well,
I guess I will. Frond is also peering, so I guess I will.
Yeah,
also
you
make
can
a
also
perception
wear perception. What did you get on your perception, Chesmee?
I did it. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why I didn't roll. Check again.
It was a 14.
14
Wait,
for
no.
Frond?
No, mine was an 8. Sorry, I was. It was a 6. It was a 6 for perception for Chesmee.
Oh,
yeah,
for Chesmee?
It is, yes.
Okay, so Chesmee and Frond, you don't see anything beyond what Dragon was telling to Shujaa. And a few more of the guards, as you're kind of like maybe milling about or slow walking or a little bit of a distance of the scene, but not clearly moving on to your business, gather around the first one that was doing street control. They don't approach you or anything like that, but it's kind of clear from Dragon and probably Shujaa, because you were talking to Dragon about this, that a few more officers are sort of in a position to make it a little bit harder to see or really approach the scene at all.
What is this in front of? Like,
it's not in front of anything specific. It's in front of, like, there's some tenements across the street. There's some small bakery shop beside it, but nothing even with low perceptions, nothing really triggers low or high perception. Nothing really triggers anything special. There's not even a pub here or anything like that.
Frond is just like, there's not even anything cool here to defend or take? Weird. I assume, unless this sort of mindless violence just happens in cities, which I would not be surprised.
it's not unknown. It's not uncommon. I'm sure there's reason behind it, but I've yet to figure out what it might be.
I think I guess we just don't have a choice but to keep moving on and hopefully we find out what's going on
I
later.
mean, you can get in a fight with 12 watch guards, but as 4 level 1 characters.
They don't want these hands. They don't want these hands. These hands are free. $3.99. $3.99.
Weapon and damage them all for 6.
Stop.
I don't have enough to be wasting my little joys.
So as you move on, you move further into the dock ward. These densely packed houses start growing. The area that you were walking in that was around Yawning Portal was nicer. This area is definitely a more dangerous part of town, and it looks like you were just on the outside of the border of it. Literally it's daytime, but a lot of the street is covered in the shade of now 4 to 6 story buildings that are stacked on top of each other. Most of the street lamps have their glass smashed, candles are stolen. The smell of sea salt is stronger here. You can smell some missed booty pea shots there along the corners. And the buildings are considerably more run down. Again, Waterdeep is built on top of itself, and there's definitely no building codes here, but you can tell a makeshift but loved after project building versus building of a 2nd and 3rd story versus something that has had no upkeep in decades. As you make your way to the corner, or as you make your way toward the tavern, the Skewered Dragon. You walk by, as you're walking down, you pass through Zastro Street and Fillet Lane to turn down Fillet Lane to get to this tavern. And weirdly, amongst all of this drab and ruined and worn out building planks and woods, and even some buildings that just straight up have holes in them, but still people living, and they look at you from their living spaces, and you look back at them, and it's super uncomfortable. You see,
unless you're Frond, in which case
it looks savory.
You see a shop that's nicely appointed. It has a deep purple facade, and its window has a hanging stuffed beholder in it. Above the door hangs a sign with elaborate lettering that spells out Old Zoblob's Shop.
Old Zoblob. I feel like I like them based on their name already.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
What is that thing floating in the window?
That appears to be a stuffed beholder. Shujaa?
The plug is probably in this room, this building, and I'm trying to find the plug, so we should go in there.
That sounds.
And
the DM has named this building specifically. It's probably a place on the map. if I went to the map
we
screen,
should go everywhere else around the building and look for the side quests and finish those.
Oh, this shit! When you go to your
random community members.
yeah,
times are tough. Times.
What do you think about the mayor of this town?
Times are tough. This is a 90s era RPG. They all have one response.
Have you heard any rumors around?
There's a cave with monsters.
I'm trying to win, dog.
There's a cave with monsters in the north. Some of the children have disappeared. Now,
random territory. I was like, yeah, bet. Like, I got you.
So, if Shujaa leads the group into Old Zoblob's shop, a cloud of lavender-scented purple smoke trails out of the shop's door as you peer inside. Every wall inside the shop, from the window as you enter, you can see, and every dusty knickknack on the shelves is dyed a deep violet. Entering the shop, you hear the bell ring on the door, and there at the back of the shop, behind the counter, is a hairless old gnome sitting cross-legged on a counter, wearing plum-colored robes. His cheeks are decorated with 9 purple face-painted eyes. The gnome lowers the hose to his hookah and blows a cloud of lavender smoke before raising his hand.
I look at the party and I say, so this room, this building is like if Janelle Monáe's labia pants were an office.
Absolutely.
I have nothing more useful to add.
Dragon laughs and says, "True."
Your city talk both delights and confuses me.
Volo came here. I know it. I must pursue this purple plume.
Dragon peers at the hookah smoking gnome and says, "Steve? No, sorry, you reminded me of someone else."
You remind me.
Yeah,
of
hairless and gnome size.
Hairless and gnome size. A little neck bearded, like gamer looking dude.
See your face whenever I
angry blogging on the internet about integrity in game reviews.
They put
Me through.
This is
This is
why
why I just can't get with you.
As the party
we already
sings
rejected
their
this
way.
clerk, dog. Like this clerk is
Really?
ass. Like we got they out.
Hail. Oh, hail and well met. Come browse the shelves of the most curious curiosities shop in the world. And there's various shelves. The shop's not actually very deep. It's about the size of a Spencer's Gifts. But it's filled with a bunch of things that you might find in a Spencer's Gifts.
It's a fantasy Spencer's Gifts. Awesome.
That's not canon to the Waterdeep module, but the way they describe it, I'm like, this is somewhere between Head Shop. This is Spencer's Gift Unchained. It's an unchained Spencer's Gift. It's a Spencer's Gift.
It's always meant to be.
It's a Spencer's Gift that doesn't have to vote blue no matter who. It can just be who it is.
I look at the clerk and I say, she was sexy now. Everyone but me. This is why we could never be.
Truer words were never spoken. You're not my type. I like him scaly. And he looks at the 2 Dragonborn. Welcome to Zoblob's. Welcome to Zoblob's shop. I am Zoblob, no relation, of course. And he gestures with his hookah hose to the hanging stuffed beholder in the window. And I am... feel free to browse my wares if you like.
Does this place have like enchanted sex dice, like the giant fuzzy sex dice?
So yes, they're purple, but yes, everything in here is purple or violet or like a variant degree. It goes all the way as far as magenta and then comes back down from that. That's about as off purple as it gets. But yes, it has there's some posters of some gladiators, like Triple X and the Undertaker in the corner, some like art canvas renderings of them, that if you flip through them eventually become women in scanty chainmail that gives them all +1 armor even though it covers nothing.
Flaming lips, I see.
So what brings I don't think I've ever seen you in here, and I'm always here because there's no sleep mechanic for NPCs in Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, these are the homies. Not homies, but they're homies now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And my name is Shujaa, and I'm here to fuck shit up.
Oh, well, I appreciate the urge to fuck shit up. I might have done a little bit of that in my younger days, but now I provide interesting articles that for the clever and creative could figure out ways that they could fuck shit up with them.
I'm going to step back so somebody else can say something more useful.
I don't remember why we came here.
You were on your way to the Skewered Dragon, and she just like, that's the plug. That's the plug right there.
Goodies. We're here for goodies.
There are goodies. There are goodies.
Did get a bunch of maybe the money it'd be helpful to buy things so we can find Floon.
Yeah. Dragon's just slowly browsing the more like the sexy toys and stuff. Not like with any interest, just eyebrows arched.
Okay, so what's weird about the sexy toys section is that you definitely see the normal amount of like accoutrement for the bedroom, both fetish and just playful and silly. There's a bunch of gag gifts in there, but you also see things that have no business being like your mind is trying to figure out how you connect this to sexy toy, like a small box filled with different sized buttons and just an old key and the hilt of a broken sword. That one you're pretty sure you know how it works. But
it doesn't work well, but it works.
A hilt of a broken sword worn down by time. You're not. The thoughts wonder about how, and then you just move off that topic mentally.
I stop and say, is there anything for Ron Jeremy here?
Ronald,
the tales of Ron Jeremy.
Ronald Jeremy,
his Dick Golem.
Yes, Ronald Jeremy has been banned from Waterdeep and canceled recently, as we call it. So, yes. Unsurprising. Nobody was surprised when stories came out about him.
You're out of here.
Everyone
Ronald.
saw that one coming.
Ronald is not welcome here anymore.
The man with two names and one weird bad penis. Yes, I recall him.
Ron, that's exactly right. Weird looking halfling.
I like to imagine that Ronald Jeremy of the D&D world is actually like part hedgehog somehow.
That's right.
And so he's a distant cousin to Sonic. Sonic has disavowed that he's ever seen him. So in this shop, to let you all know outside, like metagame a little bit, table talk a little bit, this shop predominantly has trinkets from the trinket table in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. I am going to share a link for you so that you can all see the trinket table. You can literally buy any trinket on there, but no trinket on there is simply the trinket as it's written. All of them have like a special function that I'm totally not improving what they do when you buy them.
Okay. What is the price? Like, are they all similarly priced?
Yeah, they're all similarly priced. They're all roughly between 5 coppers and a sterling. Or a silver. Sorry, I was using money from a different table. A silver. So nothing's very expensive in here, at least out front in the display aisles. Is this the actual trinket table or a different one that somebody made? Because then I'll just use... Nope, it's the actual one. Let me link this to you. I will. Yes, I'm just going to link it in the Twitch chat so you all can go and...
So everyone else can...
So that's the trinket table. So everyone could be like, how did you not get the 2 toy soldiers, one with a missing head? Oh.
Ooh. Do any of these vibrate?
So if you want to know if it vibrates, I'm going to make you roll a d20. Anything above a 5 vibrates if you want it to. So 75% of the items in here vibrate, but you don't know which ones.
Mummified goblin hand.
Yep.
A crystal knob from a door definitely vibrates.
Oh no!
It's weird. They put it on a table leg, and it's just like it's just bulbous at the top, and then a solid grip on the bottom, and it has a cable that goes to a wall. It's a very popular item.
Ooh, a set of bone pipes has got to be. It's got to be a thing.
Look, the entire strategy of finding this situation probably will have something to do with sex, which is what, you know what I'm saying? Pillow talk.
I mean,
Pillow
you were
talk,
already
man.
pretty sure that Volo and Floon were hooking up. He was described as big himbo energy, I believe. So, but yeah. So feel free to take some time to do it. While you do such, I will judge the chat.
Alrighty.
These bone pipes are kind of hard body.
There's multiples of any item, so if people want to buy duplicates, not only will that you be able to, but the duplicates won't necessarily do the same thing, which makes it interesting.
Totally breaking fourth wall or whatever you want to call it, but bone pipes just makes me think of a lot of bad pickup lines.
Oh,
I mean,
Like beyond corny, like just like
yeah.
Yeah.
Bone pipes practically writes themselves.
the Zoblob continues to smoke his hookah. Browse around if you like. Feel free to check any of the items. I promise you almost completely that nothing in here is cursed, as far as I know.
Frond is like holding up a can to her ear, and she's like, "Is this full of spiders?"
Hold on, let me look if there's a full spiders can in this.
well, a whistle made from gold colored wood sounds like a thing that belongs in my stripper outfit.
A
teeth bag. She, like,
nightcap
dropped the
that,
can.
when worn, gives you pleasant dreams. That sounds like me. I love that. I need that.
Ooh, a tiny mechanical crab or spider that moves around when it's not being observed? That sounds cool. I feel like you'd lose that instantly.
Exactly.
I love the trinket table list because it's filled with nothing. Like, nothing is important in it. It's all just like some person at Wizards is just like, all right, what's some weird, like, just strange enough stuff that is probably not useful unless a player gets really clever with it. And
I also find it. Go ahead.
Oh no, go on.
I just find it interesting that there's nothing resembling lubricant in this list.
There was some silver teardrop earrings, but I don't know what's inside of them.
When
There was some
Shujaa
stuff
Spiders.
when Shujaa quietly mutters about there not being any lubricant on the list, you look back at lubricant on the brain, and you just see a large barrel vat that just says lubricant on it and has just a giant like scoop in it and some cups beside it.
A scoop. Cue my Soldier Boy face. A scoop.
A scoop.
I'm happy that people have joined our 77-part in series of Waterdeep by the time we do anything.
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
I would like
yes.
to purchase this bag of teeth. I would estimate that it has about 40. She jangles it. 47 teeth in here. Yes.
Probably accurate.
47 too. That is exactly the number of human teeth that is in that bag. Good guess. For that guess, I'll give you a little bit of a discount. It was 5 coppers, but it's 4 coppers now.
An excellent deal, I think. She like rifles around in her pocket. I would have
For
given
those of you that
5.
aren't Frond, that's a perfectly fine deal. That's like
Okay.
like knickknacks sell for like a handful of coppers. Like it might, who knows what a bag of teeth is actually worth, but it might be like a few coppers. It might be up to a silver. Like that's what baubles tend to sell.
Out of curiosity, where did those teeth come from?
See, now that is an amazing story. So, in a past life, and by past life, I mean somewhere in the neighborhood of about 70 years ago, I used to be a dentist. Now, as you know, dentists in Waterdeep simply just punch a person until the bad tooth comes out. And so that is
I don't think that's actually true, but continue.
Oh no, I can assure you, I was top rated on the Yelp bulletin board. That's by Barry Yelp. He manages the bulletin board and he puts up all of the positive reviews and takes down the negative ones.
Being punched in the mouth would make you yelp.
Yes, exactly. He was a big fan of my dental stylings. Never a customer for some reason. Anyway, so when I got a really good screwed up tooth, I would put it in a little keepsake bag. And then after several decades, I realized I had nothing to do with these teeth, so I put them on the shelf.
Figured some idiot would buy them. That's that's quite a tale. So those are all very uniquely interesting and bad teeth.
Yes.
That is quite a deal for copper. Thank you. I have a question. This dead scarab beetle, the size of my hand, is that merchandise or is that just a dead bug?
Is that on the trinket list, Aaron?
Number 51. I rolled it.
So that dead scarab beetle is absolutely, it's a bug that I personally killed to put on the shelf. I hunted it for days. Do you know how hard it is to find a naturally purple scarab beetle in a place like Waterdeep? The climate isn't even right for it. But I found one, and I killed it with a tiny bow and arrow, scaled to the scarab beetle size, as if it was a large beast that I was hunting. I don't have a lot of hobbies.
Bug hunting is a time-honored tradition of my tribe.
There you go. There you go. The scarab beetle is 2 coppers. It's weirdly, no one wants a dead bug. But if you want a dead bug, you can have it for 2.
That's gotta be a good deal.
I got.
So you
do you
hunt,
like? Oh,
you
go
hunt-
ahead, sir.
You hunt big bugs, but what do you do with roaches? Like, do you hunt the roaches?
I smoke roaches, son. That's what I fucking do with roaches. By the way, do you want any? And do you want any? Would you like a bag full of party drugs? And there's a bunch of purple bags labeled party drugs that are just on the counter.
So that's why the store is purple. It's not because of labia pants. It's because of substances.
Yes, absolutely. Everything I imbibe will get you baked to some degree or not, or fucked up.
Will that dead scarab get one bait?
I suppose if you smoke a scarab, sure. But
Okay.
it's not intended to. That's not... Most people don't eat bugs. I don't know why. They're a good source of protein. But most people don't eat them or smoke them.
Follow-up question. How long has it been there?
Roll on a D100, Aaron. And it will be that many years.
I need this invitation to a party where murder happened because Volo would want me to go there, I think.
Okay, Chesmee.
79.
Murder happened. 79. Was that a roll you did, Chesmee? Or is that the item number? Okay.
I'll roll now.
You don't have to roll for anything. I've got something for that.
Oh, okay.
Dragon, how old is this bug?
I rolled a 1 on a D100.
It's fresh. I haven't lost my skills. It's only a year. It's within the last year. Let it never be said that Zoblob doesn't know how to fucking hunt bugs in his old age. Kids saying, I bet you can't hunt bugs, old man. Yeah, I fucking hunt bugs.
Dragon turns to Frond. Would you like the bug? You seemed interested.
She puts her hand out for the bug.
Dragon hands over 2 copper and is like, we'd like the bug, please.
Thank you.
Hands it to Frond.
She immediately sniffs it.
Do you immediately sniff it, Frond? Frond,
Yes.
do you immediately sniff it? Frond, roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Frond. How dare you sniff without a lick following that?
If you'd licked, you would have been fine. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
An 8.
An 8. Frond, you smell the bug and are reminded of delicious meals of well-hunted feasts from back home, but from your original tribe. But more importantly, any of your, not so much worry, but your general social anxiety smooths out a little bit. So you're no longer concerned about the claustrophobic nature of Zoblob's shop or anything. Frond, for 5 minutes, you were under the effect of a calm emotion spell that the scarab has when someone licks it or sniffs it. It is a permanent thing that this scarab has, but you have to get it like right up to your nose or lick it or eat it. I guess if you ate it, but then you'd be out of scarab.
Why would you eat the scarab?
And it lasts for 5 minutes. Calm emotions, 5 minutes.
I feel pretty good.
And it's on a
You do
lick
feel pretty good.
or smell.
Cool.
Good.
I'm glad. All right.
Chesmee, by the way, but we'll get to Shujaa here in a moment. Chesmee, by the way, he looks at you, and Chesmee, and he's like, "You can just have the invitation. I consider it a gift." And then he kind of just goes back to his hookah and kind of glances away real quick. And you're not even going to roll perception roll. He mentioned he was into Dragonborns. He's feeling you a little bit. Tia said that maybe there needed to be a bit of sexual tension in this, so I'm going to give her an old, grimy gnome with a neck beard. And no hair.
Of course.
Hey, that's experience.
You know he's a giver in the bedroom, though. You know he's a giver.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I like my murder. Certain way, let me tell you.
But yeah, so the invitation itself, when you look at it, Chesmee, you do realize it is post-dated for about a week from now, or rather, it's an event that has not happened yet. It has not expired, and it is up in a richer, wealthier district. You don't know the district by name or such. Because the DM hasn't looked up what that district is called in Waterdeep, so I don't know it off the top of my head. But it's in a wealthier district, and it is an invitation, and the 2 is left completely blank. So it obviously was handed to a handful of people without being personalized. So it does look like you could get in to the invitation, and conveniently it says "and guests." And guests. So you could bring the squad if you wanted to.
I definitely am rolling with the squad.
Hey.
Yes.
So that I don't play a session where Chesmee plays all of the role-playing, and then the 3 of you just sit there in silence, watching.
Bold of you to assume that we would.
We gotta go see the
crash
murder.
the party.
Yeah, I know. Right. Shujaa, is there anything on this list that you're interested in obtaining?
Yeah, there's a tiny silver bell that doesn't have a clapper. I want to get that because I don't need the clapper because I'm thick as fuck and it claps the clock. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like that goes well together.
Yeah.
And makes sense. Like my stealth rolls are shitty because my ass claps. Because I'm thick as fuck with 2 C's.
If you say that your ass can indeed clap with this bell, show it to me now, and I will give you the bell, as it's clearly been destined for you.
I turn around and just like double over real quick, hands on knees, and just bounce around a little bit.
I'm gonna need you to roll performance check with advantage. So 2d20, take the higher on the performance check.
Hold up. All right.
What I love about D&D. Say whatever you want. The dice might screw you.
21.
21.
Hell yeah.
I need everyone else in the room, including Zoblob, to take 1 point of force damage from the pure energy of power coming off of.
Die.
No, I'm kidding. But some of the items on the shelves rattle. You don't know if that's the vibrators in them. You don't know if it's Shujaa's ass clapping. But when he sees it, he just gives a light golf clap, and it's like, "It's yours, young man. It's yours. You deserve it. Delicious. Maybe I have to reconsider my position on Scales. Scales would cover up that meaty slap. I like it. So anyway, back to the point of the campaign. What has you wandering around the dangerous Dockward? You're not dressed too high and aristocratic, but you're in too nice of attire, all of you, except for the halfling. She looks like she belongs here. For this area of neighborhood.
That's so nice.
But yeah.
Speedle is great.
I'm sorry. I'm just calm like I see him.
I didn't consider that my clothes were particularly fine, but thank you.
They lack the stains of most people in these parts.
Do you mean on their clothes or upon their soul?
Well, as you can see, there's some glowing UV stones in the back, and most people have white marks on certain parts of them. None of you did, which means that your clothes have been laundered somewhat recently.
We're window shopping.
I'm gonna have the whole party just so that I can do the part of this that actually is supposed to happen. All of you roll an insight check.
We gotta roll insight now. I was just shaking my ass. I don't have insight.
Or do you have an insight?
18.
Ooh, nat 20 for a 24.
Right? So, distracted by all these baubles, a completely reasonable thing. That's enough for the group to all register this with Dragon's Nat 20. You were in this neighborhood to go find Floon. And you realize you were walking a path that Volo had told you about, which implies Volo and Floon might have been this way on their way to the tavern, which means that maybe Zoblob has seen Floon before, or could be questioned about the main quest.
Zoblob, you know what's going down. You know.
I'm not actually mad that you are fully off the rails. I love this to death.
You had to.
But I do want to remind you that if I give you like something, it probably is related to plot, and it will be hard to go back to that because that's not how custom home campaigns work. Usually they're a little bit more heavy-handed with, motherfucker, this is plot, and this is a module, so a lot of times it's like, you go to a house, and you're like, why am I in this fucking house? And it's always because it might relate to the things that you can do or are being charged to do in a module.
Yeah, okay. Cool. No, that's good to know because I've never really, this is the first like module that I played aside from like what paranoia campaign thing I did. So like, this just felt like
this just felt like
we're just window shopping.
This just felt like a Steve wanted to do a bit.
I assumed that it was like, this is on the way. You could come back here because it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how you can come back here anytime you want, but that's not how modules fully work. They're very much more like, if there's a name thing, it's probably a thing that I'm bringing up. You don't always have to do them, but it is a name thing. And so, so you all realize it's like, oh, maybe Floon was here. Maybe Volo and Floon have been here before, or maybe they were here when they were out drinking or something.
We're following the footsteps of a individual named Floon.
Floon. Floon. That's really not an unfortunate name. It doesn't. I don't get a lot of names. We don't have like a logbook of people who come in. Sometimes they're nice and they tell me, what does this Floon look like?
Handsome. With red hair.
Ooh, you remembered the red hair. They're fancy. Someone wrote some notes in a previous session.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
I have to, or I'll forget. And human.
Human, handsome, red hair. Ah, yes, I've seen. He's the lad that wanders with Volo sometimes. Is that correct? I occasionally see those two together. Volo, I know. Floon, redheaded guy, really very pretty, not too much going on upstairs.
I can't confirm or deny that determination of myself.
Frond, roll a either intimidate or persuasion check. This is more of a charisma check.
Oh, good.
And so I'll give you either, but just whatever's highest.
No. I have a +0 for both.
Okay, well, roll it anyway.
There's more like persuasion, I guess. So
Big money, no whammies.
18.
Hey, nice.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
there you go.
Hell yeah.
You know, I didn't see him with Volo the other last time I saw Floon, and he takes a draw from his hookah. Last time I saw Floon, he wasn't with Volo. He was with a gentleman that might have been his brother or maybe a side piece. They looked similar. All humans look kind of. There's like three kinds of humans: handsome, most every other human, and noticeably unsettling looking. And he was definitely in the handsome category. But yeah, I saw him and a well-dressed fellow walking back. The reason I remembered it is because while I was closing up the shop for like 5 minutes so I could pee and eat my Easy Mac out of the microwave really quick before I opened it up, because of course I don't have staff. I saw it looked like a couple people down the street were grabbing them and dragging them into an alley. I don't really know what happened there, because you don't live to be an old gnome by just investigating fights in the middle of the night that have nothing to do with you. So it looked like they were kind of roughly manhandled into an alley, kind of down the way, sort of toward the tavern, the Skewered Dragon tavern. Looks like they got there. The men that grabbed them, I caught them. They were in kind of either dark brown or black or dark blue leather armor. It was night, so I couldn't quite see the color. And there were a lot of them. There were like a handful of them.
Well, that doesn't sound good. What did you do?
I calmly went back into my shop so that I did not get stabbed to death by some ruffians. Zoblob doesn't
that seems sensible.
Zoblob doesn't I'm good at hunting bugs. Not so much at, fighting people. That's not really my thing.
I see. No, I meant no judgment. I was just curious.
Yeah. And so I came back inside. Fortunately, it didn't spill out to much closer to my shop. And then I ate my Easy Mac really fast. I peed in that bucket in the back. And then I reopened the store after the case closed. After the coast was clear.
So one time the power went out in my spot, and the plumbing also went out.
Yep.
And it was for a couple days in my dad's place. And unfortunately, we didn't have anywhere to pee or poop except for in the bathroom. So we had a bucket that we peed in so that my dad could dump it. And nobody was supposed to pee in the bucket. Or poop in the bucket, sorry.
Okay, I was like, wait.
And one morning, it was like my good buddy at the time, he was sleeping over when this happened. And, if we had to poop, we would go to a public place. My dad would take us. So one morning, we wake up, and somebody took a gigantic shit in the bucket.
Oh.
And my dad comes in, and he's like, "Which one of y'all booed in the bucket?" And,
sorry.
Like, it actually caused a rift in our friendship with my friend and I, because we both thought the other person did it. And eventually I was like, Dad totally took a dump in this bucket.
Yeah.
On us. But I couldn't convince him of that. He still thought it was me. And our friendship almost didn't survive. Because because with the entire apartment, so
Sorry, you cut out like the last half of what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
So like, it was awful, and our friendship almost didn't survive it because my buddy didn't believe me when I was like, yo, I think it was Dad that boo in the bucket, because somebody had taken the shit in the bucket, and because of the plumbing situation, the entire apartment smelled like shit for like 3 days. So,
Poop in the piss bucket.
Right.
I feel like that might be relevant to the Booty Pea saga.
I think
A
so.
little bit.
I understand. The gnome just immediately interrupts this story that I am saying diegetically Shujaa is telling in the world, and it's like
coming back
when you're
from the store's bathroom.
when you're traveling on the road. You know, sometimes it's friends that betray your trust. Sometimes it's family. You never know. But I'm glad that you didn't lose the friendship, young man, with your friend. You gotta poop in a bucket sometimes. It just has to happen sometimes. And I can understand a father's embarrassment at not being able to control his bowels in front of children. That's a real tough one, especially when there's a non-relative kid there, because you know that kid's gonna go back and tell his parents, like, ooh, Shujaa's dad pooped in a bucket. And, you know, so, you know, bygones, come on.
Imagine trying to have camaraderie after your trust was almost broken because your friend didn't believe that your father took a giant dump in the bucket.
Like holding that grudge against you.
Dying of exposure, bucket dump stories. From real life to fiction.
Dug a hole and buried the poop.
That's a great question. It probably would have been better for the yard, you know?
Yeah, this is a world of mostly outhouses. It's weird. But
have you ever asked your dad about this?
I did bring it up one time and he denied it. He was like, I didn't boo-boo in the bucket. He still said boo-boo. I was a grown-ass man at the time. He still said boo-boo.
The gnomes all call it boo-booing, no matter the age. It's a gnomish.
Hold the line. I was like 27. I was like, Dad, you remember when the power went out and you blamed me and Trez for pooping in the bucket? My dad was like, yeah, and I was like, you pooped in the bucket, didn't you? And he literally, I swear, looked at me and he said, son, I didn't boo-boo in that bucket. That was what
Maybe someone sleep poo-pooed. Have you ever considered that? Who was the sleep poo-pooer?
You know, narcolepsy is a
he didn't even call me
significant.
by my name, dog. He still called me son, like, and lied to my face.
He was like, like, this is how it is.
The relationships between fathers and sons are so complicated in the world of Faerun.
Steve Chubbs has asked. Oh, never mind. Okay, about putting a wiki link in chat. But then Chubbs said never mind. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
More so than usual.
Yeah. The answer is yes. Yes is always.
Yes.
Always. You can put whatever you want in my chat.
You say that.
I know.
This is your story. His father lied to him to his face.
Yeah. So the gnome looks at Shujaa. It's like, is there anything? What did you pick, Shujaa, as your little item?
The whistle doesn't clap because my ass claps.
Bell. Okay.
Yeah.
Shujaa. Bell that doesn't clap. Doesn't clap because ass claps. Okay.
I'm tummy tick and I can't sleep.
Shujaa, you're a wizard. You're a wizard. Roll Arcana, Shujaa, as a wizard.
Who isn't a wizard in this party?
Yeah.
Half the party is not wizards. They're both casters, but they're not wizards.
15.
Shujaa, you get a feeling that if you got the right rhythm with the bell shaking to just line up perfectly to when the clacker would clack, and you made your ass clap at that same exact time, you might be able to do some sonic damage with this bell.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
The
I'll
bell.
make a note of that.
1d6. I'm gonna do a homebrew item that will be in your DnDBeyond called Ass Clapping Bell that will have what this does after the
Who
session.
the bell tolls for.
Bell that doesn't
It
clap.
tolls for booty pee.
Area 15 feet. Radius. E. Full spell attack. And then
No.
because everyone else kind of knows the invitation itself, Chesmee, you know that this invitation only has a little bit of magic. I'm not even going to make you roll Arcana. The moment you think that you are definitely going to this party, but have not necessarily verbally confirmed that other people are, the invitation suddenly forms your name on it. So Chesmee is invited. So it wasn't just a general invitation. Once you had decided in your heart you're going to this murder party, it put your name on it. It still says "and guests," and you instinctually know if you pick your guests, you can you can their names will appear on there as well. So you can pick the party, or you can wait until it gets closer to see if you want to bring the party and other guests, or maybe there's been a schism in the party and you're like, "Fuck these clowns." I'm going alone. It just sort of depends. But it's nothing you have to decide now. Frond, feel free to roll an Arcana check on your bad teeth bag.
How dare you?
You already know. You already know what the scarab does.
I got a 11.
On an 11, you know it has something to do with digestion. You don't know what. You don't know if you have to eat the teeth or like do something with the teeth, but something with the teeth and digestion has a magical property. You're just not sure what.
That makes sense. She just tucks the teeth in her little into her rags.
All right. So as stated, Zoblob has told you about the fact that several men in dark leather armor jumped Floon, and Floon's compatriot, who was also a very attractive male that kind of looked similar to him, like he could be a brother. And they were grabbed and kind of pulled into an alleyway a little bit away from the shop in the direction of the skewered dragon. But they did not have anything beyond that information. He's like, that's all I know, because he went back inside to eat his Easy Mac.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else you want to do in the shop? I will tell you with confidence, Zoblob doesn't have any secret, deeper information. You have won his heart over by being ridiculous clowns.
Finally!
Yeah.
On to the skewered dragon.
Out to the skewered dragon.
Yep.
Out
to the skewered dragon.
Zoblob says, we're open all the time except for 5 minutes occasionally when I have to use the bucket. And I always use the bucket. And my bucket is a both ways bucket. It's whatever needs to go in that bucket goes in that bucket. I don't limit what happens in the bucket. And he just waves by as you exit the
Surely there's some limits on what happens in the bucket.
There are
Promise
no
that's a
limits on the
100% true
bucket.
story.
That is an open. I have open bucket policies. He shouts as you leave Zoblob's shop. You end up going down toward the rough direction of the alley that he was talking about, and you see in the alleyway is a really wrecked building. Both of its front windows are smashed, and Dragon, there's actually a ship's anchor lodged into the roof. However, on the inside, written kind of in rough paint, like a very sloppy paint job, is the skewered dragon above the door. Not on like a sign, just on the remaining siding above the door. And inside of it, you see a bunch of just really down on their luck looking patrons and a person behind the bar. This is open for business even though there are multiple holes in the building, and it does not have cover from the outdoor smell of sea salt and dead fish and urine.
Oh,
My favorite.
So that's the alleyway that Floon got pulled down. And there's a bar at the end of it.
Yeah, that's where the skewered dragon is. Yes.
Oh, that is the skewered dragon.
Yeah, that's the skewered dragon. It says it in white paint above its door. It's a place that looks like a pop-up bar if pop-up bars were homeless camps.
Oh, you mean pirate events?
Yeah.
Oh, so he got dragged into this skewered dragon? That doesn't.
Maybe.
But Volo said that he had left him there. So.
Well, maybe he was. Maybe he remembers it differently, or maybe he's been in some way compelled to say it that way.
Or did someone co-opt some stories here?
Mm.
I don't trust a bunch of dock workers.
I don't either.
Also, didn't Volo say he had last seen Floon a couple nights ago? And this was, when did
Zoblob confirmed that a couple nights ago, the same night that Volo was talking about, that is when he last saw the person you described as Floon. He didn't know Floon by name, just by a look of someone that you had described with another person. Mm-hmm. He knew who Volo was by name and had seen Volo with this Floon previously to that as well. Not earlier that night, just several times before.
Huh. Well, I am now less beetle high, and I'm a little nervous to go in there.
That scarab high will get you. It'll get you. But then you miss it when it's gone.
I do want to re-sniff it, but I don't want to develop a habit.
I will make you roll a eventual addiction to calm emotions if you keep sniffing this scarab. Where it's not like a chemical addiction, it's more like a behavioral addiction. Yeah. But it's also a psychological addiction in the way that your brain gets used to being calm by magical means, so then doesn't know how to do it on its own.
Yeah, everyone knows that scarab is a non-physical addiction, but you know.
Well, purple scarab. Regular scarabs, if you sniff them, they smell like whatever scarabs.
Scarabs, if you sniff them, they smell like whatever.
Ooh, I came through big on that. That was a good echo. That was an important point to come across and duplicate.
Yeah.
Don't do scarabs, kids.
Scarabs need an extra little.
Scarabs, not even once.
This is your brain. This is your brain on scarabs. Any questions? You see a billboard off in the distance in Waterdeep. Scarabs hurting Waterdeep for the last 10 years. The unseen plague of Waterdeep, and it's just like a little kid with a scarab. That's diegetic now. I'm not just joking, riffing on that. That now there's a billboard off in the distance. You've made scarabs a problem. In Waterdeep.
Those Waterdeep billboards.
They're all over the place.
Yeah. All right. What was happening?
We're in front of the skewered dragon.
Right. We're about to go in. We should be careful.
What was happening is the tagline of this. So many side jags. It's like, wait, where? This is the least in control performative D&D podcast.
Can't be tamed, only vaguely directed.
Yeah. Because let's see. This entire episode has been us getting from the tavern
to another tavern.
Yeah.
We have been
we're talking so much shit because we're still lit, you know?
Yeah.
We killed some people.
Yep.
Fed some other people, and then we went to another place where people get lit. And I feel like we're probably still lit.
This is just a bar crawl.
This is just a bar crawl. We tried to be. I know we rested. But we probably woke up still drunk because the homie bought us all those drinks after we, beat the bandits.
Maloon was very excited that you had done all that stuff, so he was buying rounds all night for everybody.
I am operating under the assumption that Shujaa is still drunk as fuck.
Yeah, that's fine.
And just went to another tavern and it's like, oh, hey, we still vibing.
So yeah. I assume you go into the skewered dragon?
Yeah. With our guard. Dragon's got his guard up.
Dragon's got his guard up. You see several like what look like a barfly level patrons in there, people that tend to live in this tavern when they're not working. You get a fair aroma of the docks, an even stronger one off these people. There's just a handful of them. There's 3 or 4 of them. 3 or 4 of them just sort of sitting around a circular table drinking. There's a Frond,
Yes.
and Chesmee, and maybe even Shujaa. All of you, please roll history for me, please, when you look at the bartender.
Yes.
Six.
Okay?
19.
Okay, Chesmee, this will definitely be for you.
What does history fall under? Because I don't think I have
It's a skill. It's a skill. You definitely got the ability to roll history. Let me get to your...
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was just missing it. My bad. 13.
13. All right. Shujaa, you've heard of these before. You've heard about them. Chesmee, you've actually seen one pretty early in your travels. Dragon, you've also seen them, especially since you've been on ships before. Frond, you have no idea what this is whatsoever. It is
Not a surprise.
It is a wooden and brass and copper humanoid creature with sort of a face. It's got eye holes that kind of glow, and it's got joints and such. For everyone but Frond, you know that these are called Warforged. Chesmee, you're looking at it. It doesn't have a mouth speaker at all. It doesn't seem like it has any way to verbally communicate on it. It's just got kind of a smooth, almost well-sanded and stained wood head with just 2 eye holes, kind of like a mannequin. It kind of implies a face without actually having one. And it is doing what all bartenders did, what they do in the awning portal and everywhere else. It is rubbing that one section of the bar with a rag over and over again, waiting until someone tries to interact with it so that it can run through the couple animations the developers put into it. But yeah, so that's what's there. There's the table with with 4 different kind of dock worker, sailor type looking barflies sitting at it drinking, and there's this bartender, and that's all that's in the shipwreck. The inside is as destroyed as the outside.
Oh, I like that metal face.
Yeah.
Are there any string players playing at this tavern at all?
Seeing as you can see a smashed piano in the corner, you're not sure that this is a very... and it wasn't smashed like a roof fell in on it. It looks like people took various weapons to it. This isn't really a musicians play live kind of bar.
I look at Frond, Chesmee, and Dragon, and I say, if one of y'all are down to hit enough low notes on that janky looking piano over there, this ass clapping bell might have to come out a little earlier than expected.
Do pianos normally look like that?
No,
Oh.
Not usually.
it's
They don't
garbage.
usually have a number of cuts and broken panels on them. No, I love that question from Frond. I love it so much. It's so telling.
I need something to bend over to. You know what I'm saying? Just really.
Let me roll performance real quick. See what I get. Wow. All right. So Dragon basically drops to his knees because I'm imagining that the keyboard's like way to the ground.
Yeah.
And just like starts playing a simple tune on the low end from whatever. Like they're like missing notes and shit from the strings, but yeah.
Oh, that's my shit. That's my all right.
So what did you roll, Aaron?
19.
So you know the dun 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 from Ooh Baby I Like It Raw. That's what you're playing. Oh.
So can I roll a performance check?
Yes, and you can with advantage because Dragon is doing so well on laying down just a nasty sounding riff that's real simple, but it just makes you want to shake that ass.
That's a 21 on my ass shaking scale.
All right. All right. So the scene in The Skewered Dragon at this moment is 4 strangers walk into a bar. There are 4 people at a circular table that are just privately and quietly drinking to themselves. And a bartender that doesn't look like it has the power of speech. One of the 2 Dragonborn, a blue Dragonborn, walks over with an anchor on his back, kneels down on one knee, and just starts hammering some keys in a very simple but very deliberate rhythm. And then you're not an ASMR, you're an Eladrin elf, a dark-skinned Eladrin elf, pulls out a bell, which you would assume was about to make some sort of like bell noise, but instead just starts shaking it while bending over, like lowering down and squatting, and just clapping those cheeks. Chesmee and Frond, with advantage, please roll perception.
I'm rolling. Who's this?
Chesmee and Frond.
Chesmee and Frond.
You are too busy being in the music right now, Shujaa.
23.
Jesus, Frond.
Ooh.
Oh wait, that wasn't with advantage. You said to roll it twice?
Yeah, with advantage.
Okay. The second time isn't as good.
The 23 for Frond.
Wait, we're rolling twice?
Yeah, roll it twice and take the higher one for perception.
19.
Oh, both of you, very good. So both of you see both of this. Number 1, you both see the bartender, the Warforged bartender, just lightly tapping his hand along with the rhythm and ever so gently nodding his head. So he might not be able to speak, but he can hear, and he likes what he's hearing.
Can he clap? That's all I need to know. Clap.
Well, I mean, as a Warforged, he has no booty cheeks, but he can clap his hands. But the one hand is very busy. No booty cheeks. There's no thick Warforged in Faerun.
Warforged have no booty cheeks.
No booty cheeks on the Warforged.
They have not yet created a weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
I do not want to come up with a system for sex robot constructs in D&D. And the moment you get a Warforged with booty cheeks, you have to do that as a DM. It's in the DM's guide.
I know alchemy. It's all right.
You can. Anyway, but more importantly, you can see the 4 men at the table just starting to kind of grumble and tense up, but they're not really going for weapons or anything of that kind. They're just grunting up, and eventually one of them's like, "Skills aside, I don't want to listen to you do this anymore. Please stop. I will buy you an ale if you will just fucking stop."
An ale apiece?
For the 2 that are ruining my breakfast liquors, yes? Ooh, an ale apiece for both of you.
Dragon's still playing, but he looks Shujaa and he's just like, what do you think?
Look, I'm just out here to fuck shit up and clap my ass.
And still, I'm assuming
I'm
you're still
good with
clapping.
what you got going on.
Just still throwing it back.
All right.
Sounds like we're just gonna finish our set then.
So, at the cries of pain from the circle table, I would like Shujaa and Dragon, both of you roll intimidation with advantage. Absolutely. We're going to get to the actual, like, I will mold all of this nonsense into the plot.
I got a 14.
14?
I rolled 2 straight 15s, so.
Is that is that total? 15 total?
Yeah.
All right, let me double check. I think that passes. I think both of them pass. Yep, both of them pass. All right. They're like, all right. Drinks for all of you. If you would just calm down and tell us why you're coming into our tavern. Please. Please. I beg of you both.
I look to the side and then I stand up straight and take a deep breath and go sit down.
No, you all
talk.
Yeah, they immediately wave.
Dragon rises and then bows and then goes to join Shujaa and the others.
Well, Dragon and Shujaa stop, and with Dragon bowing, there is a little golf clap from the Warforged bartender. There is a little golf clap from the Warforged bartender.
Cheek wind.
So Shujaa, do you go down to sit at the table with the 4 gentlemen?
Yes.
Those who either gather near or at the table, they're no longer as hunched over. They're a little bit more open. It's obvious that none of them liked that you did that, but weirdly enough, because it threw them out of their morning stupor, they're a little bit more lively now than they were. They're less closed off. And as even going to a performance you don't like tends to make you do. And the Warforged brings over just what's probably the one liquor ale that they serve in this place, which is decent, actually. It's an all right beverage. And they're in large, like, 24-ounce tankards, proper steins. And they put them down there, and the gentlemen are like, all right, what are you doing here? What are you doing? And another one is like, yeah, why? We've never seen you here before. Why are you in the Skewered Dragon? No one comes into the Skewered Dragon but us. It's why we like coming here.
Have there ever
Dragon puts a hand on Frond's shoulder. Just like, we're looking for information about, sorry, what was his name? Floon. We're looking for information about a man named Floon. Human, red hair, very handsome, I'm told.
Yes, we can give you information about Floon, but I need to be assured of something. If we tell you this information, will you promise not to do an encore? That is the only service we add. We've already bought you drinks. You already beat the intimidation check you needed for us to tell you about Floon. In a very strange way.
I mean, the sheer balls it would take to, like, come into this dive bar and be like, I'm going to lay it down on the piano that clearly everyone fucking hates. And then I'm going to bounce that ass. Like...
It's truly Chad energy at this point. A true Chad.
Dragon says, speaking only for myself, it depends on how good the information is.
Yeah. Yeah. The rest of you, you're all fine with this? We can tell you?
I'm just here to fuck shit up.
All right, well, hopefully you don't do it sonically again. All right. So, nobody comes in here during the day, but we do see some people at night. We do see some people at night. Eddie's a pretty fast bartender, and the drinks here are dirt cheap. So, a lot of people looking for some cheap booze and a little quiet, come into the Skewered Dragon to, play a few rounds and visit while we all get sloshed and forget our day's troubles. What information are you looking for? Because you're probably looking for someone if you're coming in here. You're looking for this Floon fellow, right?
Yes. We're told that he came in with another man. Whose name
yes. His name is Volo. the gentleman that came in with him.
Volo
and Floon were here a couple nights ago, actually. Volo, they were drinking together and having like a simple little bit of a game, and then they played some 3-Dragon Ante before Volo got up with some business. But Floon had stuck around, which was lucky for him, or unlucky if you decide, or if you look at it a different way. Another man that looked an awful lot like Floon came in. I believe his name is Renee Neverember. Yes, Renee Neverember. He was the son of the previous Lord of Waterdeep, Daggolt. Chip off the old block, that one. Just another spoiled rich noble who likes to rub it in our noses. Yeah, why did he even come here? This bar is way below his paycheck. But he came in here, and he and Floon got to talking. Floon was still in the mood to play some 3-Dragon Ante. Those two played and drank until about midnight, and then they headed out together. At the same time they headed out together, 5 men followed them out. We didn't see them because we were already deep into our cups and complaining about our bosses and our wives and other shit that 1980s stand-up comedians would do for hacky bits.
What were these men dressed like?
They were all in dark black leather armor, like real tough guys, real guys that you don't really like. If they had been in here when you had just done that performance, I'm sure steel would have been drawn. We do not believe in attacking other people.
Here's the thing.
Physically.
You say that they're real tough-looking leather guys. I think you and I are imagining very different people.
Oh, no. So what was happening is they all had like leather vestments on, but they were open and you could see their hairy chests. And then they had the studs and like cod pieces on. And some of them had little black leather caps. They all had handlebar mustaches.
Well, it sounds like they all had a lovely evening, Ben.
Well, we did hear a lot of noise a little bit down the alleyway. But we didn't hear much else.
By some Tom of Finland looking guys. All right. Okay. Did you see which way they went?
We didn't see which way they went, but if you're looking to find all these leather daddies, they absolutely hang out. They absolutely hang out. They all have a similar snake tattoo, and they hang out at a like a warehouse on Candle Lane, over on Candle Lane, just down the way.
I know that.
You know Candle Lane? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you came actually through the path that led you by Candle Lane, Chesmee, so you know exactly where they're talking about. You didn't go down any alleyways because you were busy trying to get to the good stuff of Waterdeep, but you did wander around.
Odorous. I don't do odorous alleys that much, but...
Oh, there's some odorous alleys in Waterdeep. That is for sure. There are odorous alleys. And so you all have your drinks. They continue telling you. They don't really have a lot more information. They saw the 5 guys leave after Floon and Neverember. Rainier, Neverember, to be specific. They heard like a ruckus outside, but they didn't go out and look to see it. You get the vibe here that the dock ward doesn't really get into other people's business. Very much. Zoblob didn't. These gentlemen didn't. It's not really a thing that happens in these parts. They tend to stay out of danger if they can. But they did tell you that there's warehouses over on Candle Lane. That's where these snake-tattooed leather daddies hang out.
Snake-tattooed leather daddies.
That's not what they're listed in the module, as you might imagine.
Now it's canon.
But that is what they are in our version of Waterdeep.
It's very difficult for me to not imagine myself in like a country bar with a lot of like hot cougars with boots. And there's a band playing called Snake Tatted Leather Daddies.
They do play a lot of bars, the Snake Tatted Leather Daddies. They're a pretty decent band, but I don't enjoy music because I've given up on hope. That's a lowly working class person in here in Waterdeep.
This isn't judgment because that would actually be a very good situation for me for a number of reasons. And Snake Tatted Leather Daddies would be creating a vibe that I would capitalize off of in a given situation. Because that's my life, being a upwardly mobile black kid from the woods of Alabama. But Alabama doesn't exist in this world, so forget I said that.
Alabama Faerun. Yes, Alabama Faerun. Back where they make a bunch of jokes about all of the incest that goes on there, but there's really good music scene underground, and you can't beat the food. You can't beat the food in Alabama.
What's a little incest between elves?
I mean, this is a fantasy realm. Pretty much there's like a 50-50 chance on incest at any given person. We haven't developed the science for that yet.
So, should we go to this place and try to find Floon?
Yes, I believe we should go find these snake-tatted leather daddies and ask them what they know.
I am very grateful that Aaron's other character in low armor cast, Scratch, is not in this campaign. Because I think we'd have to be X-rated and be on like a private, an OnlyFans for that shit.
Scratch would be like, ooh, hell yeah, we're fighting these snake-tatted leather daddies.
I mean, I'm a cosplay Shujaa anyway, and just starting the OnlyFans with me clapping my ass while blowing a whistle and ringing a bell.
And ringing a bell with Aaron in the background playing New Baby I Like It Raw on the piano. All those piano lessons.
The next door WestCon, y'all better don't let me do that for real.
You know I'm gonna. You know the next. It doesn't matter what con. Okay. I'm just gonna let you do it.
Yeah, no promises.
It could be the next fucking Penny Arcade Expo.
Crossed up. You know I might get crossed up enough to actually do that.
Might get.
So the lady's gonna unwrap your Laffy Taffy with her tongue again.
No, please don't let me do that.
Oh, I am concerned. I wasn't concerned until you said those words. Now I am.
Yeah, that's a real story from Ryan's past at a convention that we brought him to.
First time at NorwestCon, I think.
Yeah,
that's usually what happens. Yes.
Yeah, that is what happens. Ryan's a big, handsome man, and that appeals to a lot of people at NorwestCon of all walks of life. So yeah, but they don't really have. They don't. Back to the game. They don't really have any more information.
Y'all can't let me do that shit, dog.
We won't.
Yeah, you'll be good.
We won't actually let you do that.
Yeah.
The temptation to film it, mute it, and then play a song and pretend it's one of your videos and upload it to Dying of Exposure would be too strong for me to allow it to happen, because I would have to end our friendship, because there's no situation where I could resist that. Just none whatsoever.
So back to the game. So yeah, they don't have any more information than what they've told you. And Chesmee knows the way to Candle Lane. Definitely avoided it mostly at first because of the nature of what it smelled like, and thusly had a vibe of. But now there's a reason to go there specifically.
I think once they're outside, Frond goes, what if Floon got grabbed because Renee is the son of the previous person who ran Waterdeep, and they were just trying to get him? Does that make sense?
They got them. Yes. That does.
Or they weren't sure which was which, or...
So they were looking for Renee. They actually KadeshFlow.
Yeah.
Wonder what they've done with him, or if they've realized their mistake.
Exactly.
I would hate to find out. I
Maybe
assume
the
it's
murder we're
violence.
going to go watch might be. We might need to figure this out.
Oh,
Oh, speaking of murder, do you think those 3 bodies we passed by might be related?
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Definitely.
None of the people in this tavern would know anything about that. They don't even know what you're talking about, but maybe.
We're already at like.
How
we're
long
outside.
have you all been inside this tavern without leaving?
We've been on furlough for quite some time. There's plenty of buckets in the back to do your business. We got them on loan from Zoblov. They're anything buckets, so you can do whatever you need back then. You're not just pea buckets.
maybe those guys are part of the network. Weren't they saying that something was going on in their shady crime under businesses, making them all shaky and antsy?
Potentially.
Mm.
Sounds plausible to me. We know where to find them, right?
Yep. Roughly, you know it's on the lane. It'll be
Okay,
fairly easy to find them there.
Chesmee, you sounded like you recognized that place when they said it earlier.
Yes, I came by there. I was afraid to proceed down that alleyway, but I think I need to explore it now.
Okay.
Would we all want to explore this together?
Oh, I think so. At this point.
Wouldn't want you to go alone.
Oh yeah, no, we're in this together, for sure.
Well, I will lead the way. I know where I'm headed.
Chesmee, you do not need to roll perception or insight or anything because you do in fact know where Candle Lane is. You recognize it because even in the daytime, Candle Lane is almost pitch dark. It's the narrowest of alleys, only big enough for, let's say, 5 feet wide squares to fit in. But yeah, it's only about 5 feet wide. There are light sconces on either side to try and light the way. All of them have been smashed, but one toward the end of the alley. The alley looks as dark as a dungeon, and it smells like a dungeon as well. That's actually in the description in the module. So
Amazing.
Great job with the I don't go down. Only one light flickering down at the end of the lane like a distant candle.
So did that name come before they named it, or did they rename it?
They made the name and then they
They broke all the candles.
They needed it to be thematic. It's important to have ambiance in every section of Waterdeep, and part of that is staying on theme.
That's what the city code deals with, is making sure that all the themes are being followed.
City Watch constantly doing things like, you need more trees. This is Green Grove. God damn it. You're on Green Grove. We need greenery.
Oi, I see 2 candles here.
I see
I
2
sense
candles.
there's some magic keeping this incessant flame burning. We should proceed. Let's please.
Okay, you proceed. Do you walk openly down this alleyway? Do you stealth it up? Do you sneak about? It is dark, so it's not pitch dark. It's not even quite nighttime dark. So I'm not going to make you do any kind of dark vision or dim light checks. But it is quite dark. Do you kind of
Just
walk
noticed.
up boldly, or do you kind of creep about?
Well, Shuja's here, so.
Oh yeah.
Uppage going on. So I think I feel.
You're just like, fuck this. I'm fucking ready.
Let's get it popping. Let's boldly go where no cheeks have gone before.
We're swaggering in cheek first.
All right, you get to the front of the building. There are some dim lights inside of it as well. It looks like a 2-story warehouse. There are windows on the lower and upper floor. The door is closed. You don't hear any obvious sounds from it. In fact, it's kind of eerily silent down this alleyway. The warehouse itself stands at the back of an outer yard behind a high fence. The fence isn't locked. The door's actually swung open, but there's like a yardway approaching this warehouse with its 2 stories and its windows on both floors. How do you approach it?
Cautiously. I think we want to know if who's frequented this establishment.
All right, I think with Chesemee's cautiously, I would like the whole party to roll stealth. This is a group check. Your average stealth needs to reach 15. So I'm just going to take all of your stealth, add them together, divide them by 4, and then 15 is the average.
I'm not very stealthy.
Be super silent.
16 for me.
I got a 6.
I'm a 2.
I don't think we're gonna.
6 and a 2. That's really gonna drag that. So as you approach this, the hinge on the gate, because Dragon has to kind of, Frond and Chesmee just sort of move it aside kind of thoughtlessly. The hinge on the gate just creaks, but it doesn't seem like anyone is coming out. No, none of the lighting changes. At this point, you can see that the lower windows are sort of frosted or maybe dusted and dirted over. It's not clear if it's intentional or the frosting of unkempt age. So they're kind of hard to see through. And the upper windows kind of have the same vibe, but they're mostly smashed through. They're on the upper story. There is a kind of a stairway to the back side of this warehouse that goes up and possibly to an upper door entryway. On the opposite side, you can't really see where it goes. You just see the stairway on the side, and it sort of wraps around to the back. And then there's the main front door, which is currently closed. But you definitely feel like that iron fence creak was the loudest thing in this neighborhood for like the last decade. It screamed as it turned.
Maybe they're not home.
Dragon just knocks on the door and says, "Hello?"
You get no answer.
I follow up and just try to open the door.
With no answer from Dragon, Shujaa, you open the door. And here, I'm going to need everybody to roll initiative.
Oh.
But we will find out what that is next week, because it's we're going to be way late if we do this combat. And so we're almost to 10 o'clock. And so we didn't even need a mini-map because we didn't even get into a fight yet because Zoblob's store was just too lit. This group is the way that they are. But thank you so much. That's the end of this episode of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Thank you, Booty P Crew, or Booty Clap Posse, or whatever you want to call yourselves.
Booty Clap Posse.
Booty Clap Posse.
Booty Clap Bucket Posse.
Booty Clap Bucket Posse.
So we're gonna roll
BCBP. We'll roll initiative next time when we start, so that nobody has to remember anything. I'll forget, and I won't remember to look at the VOD. Nonetheless, thank you very much. Excellent session, if not necessarily the fastest, certainly the most entertaining. Love it, absolutely love it. I'd like to thank my wonderful players. By letting them plug what they want to plug. So we'll start with Ryan. What would you like to plug?
At KadeshFlow, I have Room Service 2 coming out mid-July. Hit me up on YouTube, actually, youtube.com/KadeshFlow. Everything's coming from there and then going to everything else. So streaming platforms. It's happening, but it's starting on YouTube first. All that good stuff. Yeah. I am moderately lit at the moment.
So. Prowess, what would you like to plug?
Yes, I am plugging that I am just working on a bunch of shit. I don't know, lots of stuff coming down the pipeline, and Friday is my partner's birthday, so yeah, I'm gonna do some music making in their honor and record all Friday, and stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
Follow me at My Name is Prowess.
Yep, follow me at My Name is Prowess for more information. Dragon, what would you like to plug?
You can find me on Twitch, Rawn. You can also find me on YouTube at Rawn, and Twitter. That's pretty much it. I just post. Follow me for the shit posts.
Follow for the shit posts. Stay for the shit posts. Rawn, 100% shit posts.
Can confirm it is worth it.
Yeah. And Camille, what would you like to plug?
Yes. Well, if you like this, you should do another of this tomorrow night at Through the Mill, for more different shenanigans. But then also, if you're in Washington, it is Give Big Washington tomorrow, which is a big statewide day of giving for nonprofits in Washington. If you go there, you can look at like over nearly 1,700 nonprofits raising money for a lot of good causes. I definitely recommend it. I will drop a link in chat.
Is there a nonprofit for incel-looking motherfuckers that maybe are missing an ear and just would like free money? Is there a nonprofit for that?
I don't consider you an incel-looking motherfucker.
The internet would disagree, but okay. I've looked at those people. I would like to call them my people, but they're very cruel. And I'm only that mean specifically. I'm only that mean specifically to Camille. Also, you can donate to my nonprofit, Keep Ryan in the Pocket, which I'm starting tomorrow. It will be in order to get him some teachers to help him learn how to flow better in the beat. Of course, he'll have to pass through a number of tutors before I specifically, but we'll have a stretch goal if he wants lessons from me on how to stay in the pocket. At Dying of Exposure everywhere. At Low Armor Cast if you want a podcast version of a different campaign that Triple Aaron is in. And right now, Nerdcore VPC. There's some great music on there. Yes. There's some awesome tracks. Round 2 went up last week, so you get there's now over 80 tracks of music that you can listen there from some great artists. And follow the thing, vote on it, participate, tag the artists, yell at them, tell them that they're trash. That's all directed at me. You can tell me that I'm trash. It's fine. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for another episode of Waterdeep Dragon Heist with the Booty Pee Bucket Posse.
Hey, girl! Let me pee in that butt. Sorry. I just have to do it every time.